Did you see that RFK just got in? 52-48, baby.
Oh my God. Yeah. I hear McConnell is very much saying no to all this.
Yeah, McConnell was no on Tulsi, RFK, and Hagseth, I believe.
Yeah, he was no on all of them. He's like, no. But my thing is like, is he even making any like logical thoughts? Because like, the guy is...
He can't even walk anymore.
He should...
Mitch McConnell is bedridden, and he can't speak.
He should really be done with this. He's not rerunning, obviously. That's what I heard. He's not doing it.
So he claims.
Oh my God.
He's got another 6 years in him.
No. I just don't even... No.
I mean...
Do people not love him in his life? Like...
Look, I mean, he's bought and paid for. I mean, like, we still got some we can wring out of Mitch.
Jesus Christ, dude. But, what is it? Yeah, dude. So much as I went to Europe and there was so much going on.
It's impossible to keep track of. I mean, Trump is literally doing blitzkrieg warfare. Like, the media can't stay on top of a single narrative. By the time they figure one out, like, it's already old news. Like, I mean, we were hearing, like, Trump tariff, Trump inflation, Trump tariff, and, like, it was already done 12 hours in the past, and, like, J.B. Pritzker's up there saying, like, Trump caused tomatoes to go up. It's
bro,
like, what?
Bro, it's been a head wave, okay? One day he came out, he's like, we'll just take over Gaza.
We're going to turn it into the Riviera of the Middle East.
And then people are freaking out about it, I mean? They're like, and then you got Elon Musk.
And I'm like, is that a worse use of Gaza than it is right now? Like,
oh my God.
Like, I'm all about a glittering golden Trump tower, right? Dude. South of Tel Aviv. It's the Tel Aviv of Tel Aviv.
And also, it's funny because at first when he said it, it was pretty wild. People are like, "Yeah, what? This is how could he say that?" And then a few days passed by, you're like,
I could go golfing in Gaza.
People were selling out to the idea, like, that's not bad. And then you have like, now he had the Prince of Jordan. Literally, I think it was like a few days ago. He's like, okay, maybe we can do something like this. Everybody at first was just like, there's no way this can ever be possible, in no way. And now it's becoming realistic. He's doubling down like I've never seen before. It's like, they're not gonna... Did you see the interview?
Prince Abdul Salam is like, I could play craps at the Trump Tower in Gaza.
Oh my God!
Like, I like roulette.
Oh, dude. Okay, and then what was the other one? As they're thinking about all this, he started defunding. What is it? He fired the FEMA. The lady who was in charge of FEMA.
I mean, USAID is like the biggest scandal of the big scandals. Oh. Well, he got rid of the commandant of the Coast Guard. Loss of confidence. First female commandant of the Coast Guard.
Right.
You're fired.
Yep.
The tariff thing was glorious. I mean, did you see the Colombian thing?
Oh my! See, this is what I'm saying. I completely skimmed through that because that was a huge thing for a minute. Let's go back to that because that was beautiful. That was
the most disgusting thing I had ever seen. Okay, so it starts out, Colombia's like, we're not taking our prisoners and our mental asylum patients back. Well,
first of all, he was trying to make it sound like a lot nicer. He was like, well, we just don't want our people to be disrespected. Why are they flying in a military and being handcuffed? You know what I mean? That was like the argument he would have.
Yeah.
But continue.
So he's like, we're not taking them back. He goes, we're not going to take them back. And Trump goes, all right, that's a 25% tariff on Colombia. It goes to 50% tomorrow. All diplomatic visas are canceled. Extra scrutiny at the border for all Colombian nationals.
Yep.
He made it 39 minutes.
No. Right when that happened, first you got to think about the reaction of people that are like, Trump is crazy. Like, what? He thinks Colombia is gonna back down on this. Watch coffee rise, guys.
39 minutes later, the dude said, "You know what? I'll send the presidential plane up for him." Not only did he buckle, he sent his own airplane to get him.
No, it wasn't even that. So first he buckled first, and then a few minutes later, I think he went to like Telegram or something, released a whole calling him racist. Oh,
yeah, you showed him.
We will never be controlled by these whites. He's white. Oh,
Meanwhile, you sent the presidential plane to pick him up.
Oh, dude. So that was crazy.
Mexico folded. They didn't even make it 12 hours.
Bro, the way Mexico folded was also crazy, too. You know, she was talking all mad smack about the whole time. And even people are like, well, maybe Colombia folded, but Mexico's not going to fold,
Mexico stands strong.
Mexico will stand strong. And immediately...
Claudia Steinbaum.
Is that weird?
How you going to be the president of Mexico when your name is Steinbaum? I know an Ashkenazi when I see one.
Oh, I love the Jews. All right, I love the Jews. Okay, so
I am the Jews. I love them too.
Some Jews don't like each other. Jews don't even like themselves. I'm telling you, you know, I'm against the Kanye shit. Okay,
Hey,
but anyway.
I'm just saying, if your name is Steinbaum, I know an Ashkenazi. You're not a Mexican.
Oh my god. But anyway, what is it? Yeah, so she buckled in so fast, you know. I
would have sworn Trudeau had at least a couple of days in him. He couldn't even make it to the end of the first day.
Okay, that was, dude. He was just tagging people like no other, and
the Grim Reaper.
I like to believe America in general was shocked. I don't think, and nobody saw that coming. Nobody understood how much power America has. This guy is finally like showing people like, yeah, dude, we run the shit. You know what I mean?
Daddy's home.
Literally, you have these Democrats, all that are just like, this is a bad idea. You know, they're not gonna cave in. It doesn't even take a day for these government people to be like, okay, fine. We'll talk about this every time. Literally. Canada was the last hope that I had that like maybe these guys are gonna buckle down.
Yeah, maybe he could last a couple of weeks. I thought he might have had
That's what I thought
he was
too.
Just so arrogant, he might have had a couple of weeks in him.
That's the other thing too. I didn't even think just because they hatred for Trump, I thought it would just make them last longer, just to despite him. But that they couldn't even last long enough.
Not one single day.
I couldn't.
Not a full day. So,
you know, I want to say this to people who are, you know, or against Trump or didn't believe that he could accomplish all this. What do you say after this? I mean, even for me, like I didn't vote for this guy. I am not a fan of this guy. But literally, everything he said he was going to do about this, he's doing it. And he's not just doing it, it's actually working. It would be another thing if he was doing it and it wasn't working. But it is working way too well. It's working absolutely way too well. To the point that...
What's the point of tariffs? Look and see. 12 hours later, that's the point. 10,000 Mexican National Guardsmen on the border.
Yeah, people are like, well, that's not...
Trump buckled.
Oh,
dude. Trump looks weak. Trump buckled. Like,
you
call it a buckling when he gets 10,000 Mexican National Guardsmen on the border?
You gotta give credit.
And all we had to concede? Like, Mexico got concessions from us too. Like, we're supposed to focus on like illegal trafficking of weapons into Mexico, Glock switches, that type of stuff. But I mean, that's pretty token compared to what we got out of them.
We were already trying to do that. It wasn't even something like we weren't trying to do anything about. Like, we're doing that. You know what I mean? I think the last administration as well, they were very hardcore on that. And it's just very hard to really stop it.
I mean, Mexico had to get something out. I mean, we couldn't just be like, you know...
And I think that's fair. I think that's all their weapons does come from us. I mean, that's a fair thing for them to ask in general. But really, that doesn't solve the problem they have. The problem they have, it'll be solved if they let people buy guns. Like, the only people who have guns are criminals in their country. What do you think is going to happen? Sell guns, bro. Sell guns to your people so they can protect themselves.
And then Trump goes, we'll see how you do in 30 days, and we'll re-examine this in 30 days. 30-day review.
I love that he always posts on his, like, what was the social media he has?
Truth Social.
He would post that, and then he would copy it. and he's like, I just had a great conversation with the president of Mexico. I was like, wait, what? That fast?
Oh, he loves spilling the dirt. And, I mean, he's going after the media, too. Like, did you see the thing where they were on Air Force One, and Huffington Post asked him, like, why are you calling it the Gulf of America? Yada, yada. Mm-hmm. And he goes, who are you with? And they go, HuffPo. And he goes, wait, I thought they were dead. You're still around? I haven't read them in years. Next question. And then he gives that, like, smirk that he gives, you know, with his tongue out. He's like, ah.
Bro, it's just one thing after another. And what is it? What was the latest? So he was saying, oh, it started defunding the. While I was there, they were really talking about the, what is it?
Yeah,
AIDS.
USAID.
USAID. Dude, the stuff they're saying about this USAID stuff is absolutely wild. And the fact that people are defending it, it blows my mind. I don't defend any of this. This is all just waste of money. And let me point out, I think it's a good thing to say that, what is it? This is not really going to do much with our deficit. You know what I mean? No one wants to touch the main thing. You know what I mean? Medicare, no one wants to touch that. Social Security, no one's going to touch that. So if no one's going to touch these things, really, it doesn't really matter. You know what I mean? This is more about like, what is it? The idea that like we have to stop spending money on stupid stuff. Did you see the stuff they're spending money on?
I mean, it's not even that. I mean, like, to a cynic and somebody jaded like me, I mean, the depth of USAID corruption, even to me, is like shocking.
Yeah.
I mean, like, $9 million to Politico. Like, they were directly funding Politico.
Well, did you hear the recent one?
Like $250 million to like 6,000 approved journalists. 90% of the media in Ukraine is USAID funded.
Yep. Yeah, I saw
like,
that one, yeah.
I mean, the depth of this corruption is just shocking. I mean, like, USAID gives the money to the NGOs and the NGOs give the money to USAID. Like, it's very circular with like all these pass-throughs. Like the head of USAID, what's her name? Samantha Brown?
I have no idea. No.
It's Samantha something. I think her last name's Brown.
Okay.
She went from a net worth of $6 million to $30 million on a $180,000 salary.
Wow.
In a very short period of time.
That's pretty crazy. Go on.
I mean, yeah, like the pass-throughs, the corruption. I mean, it's really like it's staggering.
Do you know the one? I think it might have came out today. What they were talking about. My last draw was the one that where they paid like $1 million to some rapper in Gaza to make anti-Semitic song.
I can see it.
I was like, no, get him out. Get all of them out, dude. After I was like, you know what? It doesn't matter. I don't even care anymore. Cancel all of it. Cancel all of it. You know what I mean?
Well, and then, first off, the people in like the leaders of other countries, you don't hear anything from them. Like the president of Kenya himself was like, we need to get weaned off this money. This is not helping us. Aid is not. He's like, we need to help ourselves.
Aid never helps anybody. I mean, one of the biggest problems for Africa is the aid. The aid is literally crippling Africa. There's no help. But it
never goes to the poor Africans.
No, what is it, like 80% stays on the top? They get like maybe
80% goes to DNC leadership.
Right.
20% goes to African leadership. 0% goes to hungry Sudanese kids.
But no. I mean, obviously, I'm against aid in general. Just it doesn't do all that they claim they do. Like, it doesn't really help the people they're saying it helps. It really helps the people who are at the top. It's always been like that.
The political connected.
Yeah, so it's not helpful. And so giving these people unlimited amount of money to spend on some... I mean, did you see... A lot of people are upset about the fact that he stopped the... What is it? The science study? What's the department called?
Like, NIH?
Is it NIH or where the science... We basically fund them to do a bunch of research.
Oh, NHS.
Yeah. Did you see the... So this is another one that I was just kind of like, are you serious?
With the fact that they funded the lab where COVID came from?
No, not even that.
Well, that's an old conspiracy that came true.
Well, that's not even it. You know what I mean? In fact, maybe that has a little more merit than this one, where they're studying... They spent $100,000 on trying to see, like, if you snap your hands differently, does the sound of the snap doesn't change? And they were inspired by the movie, Infinity War, Thanos. They spent $100,000 to figure it out.
That's the thing. Did they actually spend $100,000 on that, or was that just kickback and bribe to somebody by another name?
No. Regardless, it's even worse. I'm just saying, like, the fact that they're claiming, even if it's,
they claim that, but I mean, where does it actually go?
They claim it, or that's exactly how they paid whatever. Regardless, we're spending money on that research. Whatever the money is going, whatever, it's not justified. Like, whatever it is, it could be that they're doing that. Let's just say it wasn't even to corruption at all.
Yeah,
it was
sake
straight
of
up
argument.
going.
Yeah, sake of argument, this was a legitimate study.
Yeah, exactly. It's worse. That is absolutely terrible. So, like, there was a lot of things that So now they stopped their, funding them, and everybody obviously were like, "Oh, all the cancer research is happening," and I'm just like, brother, come on, let's just calm down.
This isn't how this works.
Also, they're not doing the important
This is not how it actually works. Like, they only argue for like what USAID sounds like or claims to be, not what actually happens.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, honestly, at this point, if you're upset about what's going on with USAID, you're either absolutely clueless or you're in on the scam.
Yeah.
Like, those are the only two options there are. You either have no idea or you're a part of it. You know, first off, they cut USAID staff from like 10,000 down to 300.
Damn.
Glorious.
Damn.
Yeah, they left like 300 in there. Damn. I don't know what those 300 did or said or where they are, but yeah, they cut it from 10,000 to 300.
Okay, that tells you. That's basically all of them.
Yeah,
okay?
I mean, they might have just left the janitors to keep the floor swept. I don't know. But the lady who used to run it, that Samantha Brown lady, they had her on CNN, with this sob story like, well, it's a really scary thing to get laid off by email, and, these are all real people with mortgages and rent and this type and all this and this.
Okay.
And I mean, I'm just like, to a Trump supporter like me, this is pornography. The thought of 10,000 leeches getting cut off the tit. And then, it used to be, well, if I lost my government job, I'll just go work for the NGO. Mm-hmm. The NGO was USAID too. That's not an option. It puts the fries in the bag. Like,
yeah.
It's pornographic. Like, I hope the DC real estate market absolutely implodes.
Yeah.
Like,
people just leave.
Yeah, I hope DC becomes a ghost town. Like, I want in the 2008 recession, DC was the only housing market that appreciated. Why is this? Like, I want it to collapse.
Yeah.
It's pornographic. The thought of it just alone, that it might be a possibility, is pornographic.
Yeah, so that's something else people on anti-Trump side don't understand, the Democrat side, that the people did vote for this. Like, the Trump people are
excited.
Is what I wanted. I
am giddy.
All I see is like, do you guys not see what you voted for? Did you see what's happening? They're like,
I see exactly, and I am happy. I'm not only happy, I'm ecstatic. I've never been so happy.
Dude, his approval rating is solid, okay? It's never been better.
It keeps going up. He just signed an executive order yesterday, I believe, that said for every 4 federal employees that quit or get fired or whatever, you can only hire 1 replacement.
Oh,
yeah, pornographic. For every 4 that leave, you can replace them with 1. The buyout just got cleared by the courts too.
What now? They wasn't it blocked?
It was blocked, but it got cleared.
Oh,
yeah, they're like, no, you don't have standing to block this. So the Fed buyout's a go.
Okay, my other thing is why are they calling this fascist? Do people understand what fascist is? Fascist doesn't shrink the government. They understand this, right? There's not been one fascist ever point to one fascist government that decided to shrink the government instead of basically making it bigger.
Fascism is the unholy union between the corporation and the state.
This is
Benito Mussolini was a fascist. El Duce.
Dude, anybody who was a fiscally responsible conservative, fiscally responsible Democrat, there are a lot of Democrat people who are who didn't vote for him, who are looking at this and they're like, man, this guy's doing it. I didn't even think this was possible. He's actually making it happen. They're not saying it out loud, but then low key, everybody's kind of just like, let him keep going. Let him.
If he could have accomplished this in 4 years, he would have been a blowout success.
Yes.
The fact that he's gotten all of this done in 2 weeks.
Well, now let's talk about the Ukraine. That's kind of it's a little sad, but reality is setting in for pretty much everybody who was involved in this whole nonsense, right? what is it? The
I
people
mean-
who thought, first of all, that Ukraine could actually beat Russia. I want you all to know that didn't happen. That's not happening. The people who thought Ukraine was going to join
NATO.
not happening.
No
It's
NATO.
over. No NATO. It's not happening. What is it? You thought Donbass or Crimea in any way was going to come back to Ukraine? Let's be real here. I heard they just sat down. What's his name? The president. What's his name?
Zelensky.
They just sat him down, let him know the real thing. Hey, bro.
Zelensky just said there's $100 billion in U.S. foreign aid that he can't account for.
No. Okay.
Where did that go?
Let's not even talk. I mean, let's not even talk about the money corruption. Ukraine is one of the most corrupt places on the planet. Let's not even talk about that. I'm simply
It's
just
not
talking,
even a country. It's a money laundering front.
Yeah, so forget about that part. I'm talking about what's about to happen, or what the Trump administration compared to what the Biden administration has been telling America in general, or what they've been telling the world in general. Same with Zelensky as well. He was also part of this. Now he has to I'm actually scared for him what's going to happen to him. He encouraged his whole country, actually motivate them to say that it is possible for us to take back these territories, and might even possible to beat Russia. A lot of people
We're
died.
gonna push the invaders out.
A lot of people died. A lot of people's kids got slaughtered. So many people. And he knew this wasn't going to happen. He knew there was
There
no
are
way.
no more men in Ukraine.
He has to take this. Now the fact that the last administration basically, blew smoke up his butt, gave him all this money, tell him we will never let you will be joined. NATO will be there. Don't be worrying about it. Now what? He literally campaigned with Kamala. Remember that? He was literally campaigning with Kamala.
How much did he get paid for that?
Doesn't even matter. I'm not even going back to ignore the money. Ignore the money. We're just talking about the consequences.
He knew where the buttered bread was coming from.
We're just talking about just the consequences of it. He was projecting an image that completely backfired like crazy. You know what I mean? He was putting out an image that it is possible to get these territories. It was possible to beat Russia if they just keep getting more money. We just kept supporting him. Now the new administration came and reality has finally set in. And now he has to go back to his people and tell them the fact that, first of all, he has to concede to never getting Crimea back, never getting Donbass back. It's done, son. And he has to stop the war. How do you think this is gonna go for him politically and just in general?
Well, good for him that they canceled the elections. We've got to save democracy in a country that canceled the elections.
Oh my god, bro! Listen, man. Like I said, I didn't vote for this dude, but he's doing everything I never thought it was possible. Especially how fast this is going. This is just going too fast.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I hate to say it, but Russia and Russia and the U.S. need to negotiate the peace treaty. Ukraine doesn't even need a seat at the table. What's going to happen to you is what we say is going to happen to you. You don't get a vote.
We'll bring the deal that we made, and you're going to sign it.
Yeah, we're going to make a deal, and you're going to go along with it.
That's right.
And we're going to take the minerals.
That's. I think that's what he said, right? When they saying
Trump wants the minerals. It's we consider this a loan.
Everybody should have saw this coming. I mean, this was not a surprise.
Collateral?
But yeah, so I mean, in the next few weeks, Trump and Putin are gonna have a meeting, and we're gonna put this to bed. It's gonna be done.
Yeah, I mean, Ukraine is gonna be the Riviera of the Black Sea.
Oh man,
I can't wait for it. I'm gonna go contracting in Ukraine.
Yeah, I mean, there's
gonna be so much rebuilding. There are no men. It's only women. It's great. Ukraine is gonna have a demographic absolute collapse. The 18 to 24-year-old men are the only ones they haven't completely obliterated through the draft yet.
Yeah,
very young boys.
Yeah, I mean,
and that's it. And the extremely old men, they've got rid of all the old men too.
That's
burned
the bad
through
part.
them.
That's what I feel bad for them. It's just again, they've been lied to, and reality is really setting in for everybody. It's not just them.
It's going to be glorious. Any asshole with a backhoe is going to be getting so much government contract money.
Yeah,
it's going to be great. And I mean, they're going to have to repopulate the Ukraine with some of the most beautiful women on earth. And the fact that there's a chance that I might not get in on it.
Oh my god. Yeah. Yeah.
Like, how do I get in on this?
But so it's not just them. But yeah, so another people who have to deal with this is, Gaza. I mean, remember how much they were celebrating after the ceasefire happened, and they were like, what is it? Giving back some of the hostages. I mean, they were just basically like, we won the war. I mean, they were celebrating like they had won the whole thing. And it slowly, they got too confident. They were just like dancing. They went back to their old ways. And then immediately, what was it? It was like a few days ago. They were returning few hostages they were like pretty much dead. Like they didn't give them food or anything. These people looked like they were starving to death. You know what I mean?
Well, what was that ultimatum Trump gave them about Saturday?
Well, so that's what I'm going with.
All hell's gonna break loose.
Yeah. So what is it? So they're doing a swap basically. Like you release 3. All right, and now you give us 100 prisoners that you took from us. Like these guys are like in prison for life kind of thing. And then so they kept because that's what the agreement was with Biden, right?
Yeah.
So as the days were going on, what is it? The Trump advisors basically they came in and they're like, first they were taking credit for the ceasefire, and then they saw what it was in the ceasefire, and they slowly were like, yeah, we were not part of this at all. We don't agree with any of this concession that they made in the ceasefire. So as they were saying that, Hamas was getting upset. They're like, yo, we're just not gonna. We're gonna stop. We're gonna stop giving. We're gonna stop trading. Even though they were getting every one hostage, they were getting like 100 prisoners. Okay, and even then they were like, that's not enough. They got offended because the Trump administration. They were just like, this is not. We don't think this is a fair deal. So obviously they said we're gonna stop this. We're gonna need you to make up your mind on what you want to do. And that's when Trump was like, Friday. Was it Saturday? You got until Saturday. And if you don't,
you can think about it on the day of rest.
He literally was like, if you don't release everybody, that's it. We're done here. We're not doing 2 here, 2 there, 5 women. No, all of them. You release all of them, or else it's hands off. We're gonna let Israel do whatever they want. And now, I'm obviously a huge supporter of Israel in general. So this was just like a music to my freaking ears. How do you think first he came out saying that we would control Gaza, right? And they were offended by that too. Obviously, they didn't want to hear that. There was a lot of them were saying like, where does he expect us to go? And some of them were saying that I'd rather die here than go anywhere else. All that nonsense, you know what I'm saying?
Your proposal is acceptable.
So now he's basically gave whatever, because remember we were talking about how there were a lot of people, a lot of Muslims in Michigan. They were protesting against Kamala because they thought Kamala wasn't being strong enough to get Israel to stop the fighting.
CBS had a massive hit piece on Trump on that. They're like, all these Muslims that so-called voted for Trump, and now he's doing. They're like, how could we? He fooled us. How could we have been so blind,
bro?
Even though it was just like one imam who writes like a newspaper in Dearborn, Michigan. He's like, how could we have?
But remember I was telling you,
beard, no mustache.
But remember I was telling you, I was like, it makes no sense that they're trying to protest the Democrat side. They not know that Trump is like hardcore. He's the most pro-Israel we ever had. I mean, why would they think his second term would be any different? So anyway, they voted for the guy, and the guy was basically, he is doubled down. Not just doubled down. Now he's to the point that he's basically taken over Gaza. So it went from like, maybe he'll give them 2-state solution to my state. It's Trump's state now. It's gone. Like, actually, I just think it's so crazy.
It's the Trump Riviera.
I just think it's crazy how fast that moved. You know what I mean? Like, he's basically saying, he's like, I think he was doing a Brett, is it Brett? What was that Fox News guy?
Brett Baer.
Yeah, Brett Baer interview, and he was talking about, well, whenever you fixed it up, are you gonna get them to come back? What? He's like, no, they're not coming back. I'm gonna build them a safe place in Egypt, in Jordan. They don't need to come back. Brett, you don't understand. It's not safe here. Why would they come back here if I build them a safer place? You know what I mean?
He's like,
but just the difference approach is just astounding. Like, it's crazy. It's day and night. It's not even close. Like, I never expected a president of the United States to simply go take this route.
Well,
to fully be on one side and be like, if you don't return the hostage by this time, we're done here. I'm going to let these guys do whatever they want to you. And then, what is his name? Netanyahu took that shit to heart. He immediately...
Bibi is a war pig to his very core.
He's like, we're prepared for all possibilities.
I mean, honestly, like, I'm not pro-war. I'm not a war pig. But
That's
the
only
thought
thing I
of
respect.
Israel being allowed to just walk into Gaza and do whatever they like,
Dude.
that's pornographic too.
Oh my god.
That is pornography.
I just, so that's what I'm saying. When all these Muslims were like on the defense about voting for Kamala, it just blew my mind. I didn't know what they thought was gonna happen. Like, first of all, I'm gonna say it. I didn't think it was gonna get. Like I said, I never thought a president would take this far. But nevertheless, what did you think was gonna happen? He was gonna be on Israel's side. I mean, his daughter,
Like,
his grandkids are Jews.
I know him when I see him.
Bro, Trump's daughter is married to what's his name? Jared Kushner.
With a name like Kushner? Come on now.
Jared Kushner is a Jewish guy, and he's the one that basically what is it? The Abraham Accord. He was the architect of that whole thing. So you thought he wasn't gonna push this even further? I just didn't understand what people were thinking.
Here's an even more important question, right? Like, what is a Palestinian, right? Like, a Palestinian, that's not a nationality. That's not an ethnic group. I mean, like, they're Arabs, right?
They're Arabics, yeah.
I mean, like, that's all they are. They're just garden variety Arabs, right?
Yeah, Jordan is like, I think if you, Jordan, 80% of them technically are Palestinian, if you want to say that. Like,
Well,
there are Jordans, there's Lebanese, there's Egyptians. I mean, there's all a mixture of them.
yeah, they're not a specific nationality, though, right? Like, Palestinian is not a people, right?
No.
So my question is, what's wrong with these people to where nobody else wants them? Like the Egyptians are like, no, we're not taking them. The Jordanians are like, no, we're not taking. Like, you're all Muslims, are you not? Like, what's wrong with these people specifically where you're like, absolutely not, they're not coming here? Why is this?
That's a question nobody wants to answer. We all know it, but nobody wants to say it.
That's kind of the elephant in the room, right? Like, these are just rabble-rouser Arabs that nobody else wants.
Yeah, obviously Jordan doesn't want them simply because, you know, what is it?
Do they have work? Like, are there jobs in Gaza? Is there work? Do these people have skills?
Whatever it is, their main goal in life is just jihad. That's the
Terrorism.
problem. It's just terrorism is their main thing, and nobody wants to import that terrorist skill to none of their places. Obviously, if they were, Egypt is afraid if they let these guys in, they're gonna overtake their government, just cause chaos. Same with Jordan; they don't want them there because they're gonna go against the prince. I mean, nobody wants them simply because they're they're jihadists.
Could we leverage that to our benefit, though? Like, could we send them to, like, Venezuela and get rid of that guy? Like, is that some, like, high-brain CIA stuff they hadn't thought of?
Oh, my God. I don't know.
Like how Putin used to send in the who are those guys? The Chechens?
Oh, it's Chechens.
Yeah, could we turn the Palestinians into our own Chechens?
They're basically like a Chechens. Their ideology is very much like
the crazy people we send in to do the wet work.
Yeah. Anyway, either way, it looks like by Saturday there is no more two-state solution conversation. It's over. There's whoever was thinking
we still get the West Bank though, right?
Oh my god.
Or is that off the table too?
Oh my god. But yeah, so that's done. So now he got his confirmation with what's his name?
RFK.
RFK was in there.
Make America Healthy. Tulsi Gabbard.
She's in there.
See, this is pornographic too. Like, that's another thing like the left doesn't realize. Like, Akash Patel.
Oh my god, yeah.
Like, these people all got fucked over by the very departments they're now heading.
Pete, what's his name?
Oh, Hegseth. Yeah,
as well, yeah.
Like, these people all got burned by the system that they're now running.
That's right.
Again, this is pornographic. These people have axes to grind.
What is it? People now, I think they're trying to make Elon and Trump go against each other. Did you see them? They're calling Trump like co-president.
Oh yeah, Elon. President Musk.
Yeah, I just feel like
nobody voted for Elon Musk. Yeah, who voted Kamala in the primary? Oh wait, that's different. Oh man, RFK's confirmation hearing was just glorious.
It was good.
Did you see Bernie Sanders? #1 recipient of pharma dollars.
Well, I mean, first of all, I don't think what's the name, RFK should be confirmed at all. I'm against that appointee, but obviously the other side loves the fact that the other side hates it. Whatever they hate, they love it. Do you understand? That's really is the whenever Bernie goes out and just says these like, well, you got a what is it? What was it? Anti-vaccine here. You're selling.
Do you renounce this onesie? What the hell is wrong with this guy?
But
Bernie got him. Like,
but yeah, I feel that.
And then he goes, Bernie, why did you take so much money from the pharmaceutical industry?
That's not why we're here. That's
individual donors.
That is what he said.
Yeah.
No. These are
individual donors. Elizabeth Warren. Bernie Sanders, Raphael Warnock, Elizabeth Warren. Number 1, 2, and 3 on pharma money.
Yeah.
Number 1, 2, and 3 most vicious attackers of RFK.
Yeah. Obviously, the people that's the thing. It's very hard to look at RFK's record. What is it? Non-partisanly, because the people who are criticizing are like the worst kind of people to criticize him. They're deep in the doo-doo, as we would say. Compared to him, it's just very hard to listen to Bernie.
They are the employees of the people he's about to be a hatchet man to.
Exactly. So it's just very hard to take them serious. Even though there was a lot of claims made about JFK that I thought it was very valid. I mean, this guy is the guy who said the Jews created the... Dude, there's a record of him saying that. Like, nobody cares,
yeah,
obviously.
No, he came out and said COVID-19 was created to spare Chinese and Ashkenazi Jews. Meanwhile,
he said these things.
I never got sick from COVID as an Ashkenazi Jew. Therefore, I'm like, he might have had a point.
Oh my God.
I never once got sick.
But anyway, I do think he is not qualified for this position. I think he's just saying things to get to the job. But again, that's what most of them are doing. Just like I said, the problem is the side that's criticizing him are people who have been doing the same thing for like years. They're the last people who should... Every time they go against, somebody that the other side wants, they just want him even more. I think like it just gives him more platform. It doesn't help at all.
Right before the vote, Chuck Schumer of New York said, "You can't vote for RFK. He's not a pharma or agriculture executive like the last HHS secretary." I'm like, you literally just made RFK's point for him.
That's the thing. You had people that were not qualified for the last 4 years. You were hiring people
the last 40 years.
You were hiring people based off some just silly stuff. The color of their skin, the gender, you were just being a quota instead of being all about merit. But now the other side is not going by merits, and now you have a problem with. You think that's just gonna fly by?
I also felt it was funny too. There was a moment in the RFK confirmation hearing where RFK's also questioned the vaccine schedule for kids.
He thinks vaccine causes autism. I mean, there's been proven it doesn't, but this dude still does. He still talks about it like it does.
He said he has questions about like do we really need to give the same vaccine schedule like for everybody regardless of their race? It's a valid question, right? I mean,
okay.
If like sickle cell anemia, let's say, it affects 90% of blacks, or 90% of sickle cell anemia cases are in blacks, right?
Okay.
So it's like, if they were to develop a sickle cell anemia vaccine, is it really indicated to give it to whites? I mean, would that be medically, would medically that make sense? To give whites a sickle cell anemia vaccine when it affects them in very small amounts, as opposed to blacks. Yeah, so I mean, he's brought up issues like that, right? I mean, it's like, different races are going to have different immunities to different diseases, right? It's like, do we really need to fill the children with all these vaccines if they don't actually medically need it, right? So then one of those race hustler congresswomen, she was like, she's like, what vaccine do a white baby get that I don't get?
Oh.
And then the poor guy, he's so inarticulate, because he's got the bad throat.
Yeah.
Coughs a lot. And I just feel bad for him just yelling at the guy, and he can't even get a word in edgewise. But yeah, I mean, and then he told Bernie about how much money Bernie gets from the pharmaceutical industry, and then Bernie just goes red in the face and starts screaming. And
Listen, though, what is it? The Pandora box is open, so it's just very hard to criticize the other side because the other side was doing the same thing. So when I see it's just clowns interviewing other clowns,
Yeah,
it's all clownish, really.
the top 12 congressmen who take the most pharmaceutical donations, all top 12 are Democrats.
I believe it.
Yeah,
I 100%
so I mean,
believe
it's
that.
like
Yeah.
Republicans are corrupt too, but they're not
They're-
top. They're not worst offenders of the corruption game in this regard.
Yes, 100%.
So anything a Democrat tries to tell me about the pharma industry, I'm just
Yes.
like, no, that's probably not the truth.
100%. Exactly.
Yeah, like I have no interest in hearing what a Democrat has to tell me about pharmaceuticals, simply for the fact that they take the most money from the industry.
Yeah, I think that credibility is completely lost. So yeah, it's just like I said, Trump is in such a unique situation that where the people who are against him are just hypocrites. You know what I mean? People who have for years have been been claiming things that are just not true at all. And the American people have basically voted for him overwhelmingly. I mean, the popularity vote, are you kidding me? They all said, go in there, do whatever you want.
Drain the swamp.
And now everything he does, I mean, like I said, his approval rate is just going up. Whatever he says, nobody's gonna stand in front of him. I mean, even the court that like decided to stop. It won't even matter. I mean, he's even trying to get like, what is it? It's gonna go to the Supreme Court for sure, but I don't know how well this is gonna go about illegals can't have kids here, and then once they have their kids here, what is it?
Yeah,
They can be American citizen.
Well, that's the question. I mean,
It's a question. It is a question.
The 14th Amendment says under the jurisdiction of.
Yeah.
Are Mexicans under the jurisdiction of Mexico, or are they under the jurisdiction of America? It's a legitimate observation to make, is it not?
It is, and I'm honestly curious to know what the Supreme Court is going to have to say about this. I mean, it's a valid question. I agree. I just don't know how. But also, I don't understand why people already are saying it's unconstitutional or like. It's like, yo, you interpret this way. There's can be other ways to interpret it as well. Let's find out what the 9 judges have to say about this.
I mean, it's really going to have to come down to like what they feel jurisdiction means, and also historically what jurisdiction would have meant at the time it was written too.
Yeah.
Because in 1865, jurisdiction meant a different thing than it does now. So.
Yeah, so that's the only one that I'm just kind of like. But again, even all these things he's pushing out there it'll be good for us to know where we stand, just in general, just to be informed about this,
Yeah, and I mean, Trump's got some friends in weird places now too, like that Raphael Warnock guy from Georgia.
The black dude,
with the glasses and stuff.
Yeah.
So RFK's previous running mate Shanahan.
Mm-hmm.
She's like a billionaire. She's pretty rich, right?
Okay.
She goes, well, Warnock, he's number 2 on taking pharmaceutical money.
Mm-hmm.
So he was a very outspoken critic of RFK in the confirmation hearings.
Mm-hmm.
And she goes, the only reason you won in Georgia was because of me and my money, and I regret that. So she basically said, like...
That's heavy stuff.
Yeah, she's like... Your number's up. So I mean, they're going to primary him real hard, I believe.
Oh, the news one where he was there with his kid at the White House, and they were like asking him questions, and
they're going crazy on that.
Yeah, well, one thing I just didn't. He pointed out that I was like, that's crazy that like how the federal government people retire, the process of that.
Oh yeah,
brother, what did you?
Yeah, everything's done by hand.
They have to send it through the mine. What is this nonsense?
Well, I understand.
They can only do. Please make me understand, because I don't understand.
Well, the mine thing, I like the fact that it's in an old mine. That makes sense because I mean, old mines are used for like paper storage and that kind of stuff anyway, because it's like consistently cool in there. I mean, it's like 65 degrees year round. I mean, it's it's a good environment to store papers.
Okay.
I mean, a lot of like data storage is in mines, food distribution. I mean, it's like a natural refrigerator, right? I mean, there's mines here in Missouri all over that function the same way.
Okay.
I mean, it's just, like they can only process 10,000 retirements a month because it's like 700 employees and they do everything by hand. Like all the processing of it is done personally by hand. So it's like you're limited to how many employees can retire by like how many hours in a working day there are and how fast the elevator goes up and down.
That was the dumbest thing I heard in my life.
Yeah.
When I heard
No, they
that,
could have modernized that. That could be
Brother.
done on the computer, but it's done like physically on paper by hand.
After that, I was like, I was one of the people. I'm like, yo, dude, just be quiet. Just stick with your billions of dollars. Just stay on the background. Why are you such in the full word? But I mean, like, you hear stuff like this, you're just like, yeah, man, do what you got to do, bro. Do what you got to do. We're behind you. You gotta get rid of this. I mean, it's just crazy the amount of money we're just wasting. There's so many departments. There's so many.
Yeah, I mean, like, whose cousin owns the mine? I mean, like that just screams pork barrel project, right? I mean, like, some senator from Pennsylvania brought home the pork for like his cousin's family.
Yeah.
There's like 700 people working at that mine doing that. How are they connected to the congressman?
No, this is true. And the National Institute lost a bunch of fundings.
Yep.
They lost.
Oh yeah, they're not going to do the Festival of Nations this year.
Yeah. Festival of Nations gone. They were very, very upset about that. They laid off like a bunch of people. But anyway, people are like freaking out about this. Like he paused. Like private government contractors. Their accounts were paused. Some of them who are like over the sea somewhere else, their account is called, was frozen just because try to see
pornography.
And people are just screaming like, this is a constitutional crisis is happening. You know what I mean? People are using every word they can think about.
I've never felt better.
That's...
If this is a constitutional crisis, like, it's the end of the world and I feel fine.
Yeah.
I mean, well, it also came out, you remember right when Trump got inaugurated, that pastor lady gave that sermon, about trans children are quivering in their bed because of you tonight.
That's right, yeah.
Turned out her church got $56 million for migrant resettlement. It turns out that they were on the take.
Well, I mean, I believe they were on the take.
I mean, that was a huge thing. Like, a lot of these Catholic charities and NGOs and stuff, I mean, they've made a lot of money on, like, migrant resettlement.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, these guys are doing their thing, and,
And then there's the dude who, did you see the thing in Munich?
The car?
Yeah.
Yeah, I heard.
Again.
Well, we don't know. Do they know the?
Yeah, they said he was an asylum seeker from Afghanistan.
You're joking.
That's what the news said this morning.
No way.
That's what the news said this morning.
Oh my God.
He's an Afghan.
Oh,
seeking asylum.
No. Dude, they need to stop texting the Germans. You guys, we already know that this happened twice. We have to stop testing the Germans, all right?
They've got an election coming up. The Liberal Party will win again.
They won't.
They will.
You want to bet?
Yes, I know what Germans are like.
They won't win.
They're broken. There was a German girl. She made a TikTok.
Go ahead.
This is how broken the Germans are. She made a TikTok. She goes, me, all the women I know, all the women in my life, we don't go out at night anymore. We can't ride the train. We can't walk down the street. Like, it's not safe. She goes, I might vote AFD. Not I will. I'm considering voting AFD. How bad does your life need to get before you go from, I think I might possibly vote AFD if they sell it to me really well, to we need to do something?
Well, I mean,
like, you can't walk down the street and you're like, well, I don't know about those AFD guys.
Bro, I think people were saying the same thing about Trump here. I mean, this was crazy how this whole thing turned. You don't think people are sick of it the same way they are in America? You don't think they want to come out and voice their concern?
I'll caveat this with, I have no faith in the Germans, but Trump has kind of let some light in on this, and I think he might be an inspiration to others too.
I think the same thing with the next British election as well. I think the new reform are gonna take over. That's what I think.
I don't think life's bad enough yet in Germany or Britain.
Well, we'll see. We'll see.
We'll see. The elections are coming, but I mean, if the AFD makes any kind of ground, I mean, I would be very surprised.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see, you
guys. It's been one hell of a first month.
It's been one hell of a first month, yeah. But there's so much coming. I mean, I'm sure by next week there's gonna be way too much.
Trump said you're gonna win so much you're gonna get tired of winning.
You're not tired yet?
Trump lied. I'm not tired yet.
All right, guys. We'll see you next week. Bye. Oh my goodness.